we're gonna do this. We're fucking... Shit, I forgot to turn the camera on. If you haven't been living under a rock the past 2 years, you know that AI is fucking everywhere now. In a relatively short amount of time, it has gone from an experimental technology that could only generate incomprehensible nonsense to an inescapable part of day-to-day life in the modern age. It seems like every major tech company under the sun is trying to shove AI down our throats in some form or another. Google's AI was telling people to put glue in their pizza, Meta has shoved a chatbot into the Instagram search bar, Apple is integrating ChatGPT into Siri and calling it Apple Intelligence, Facebook is dead, and Microsoft wants to use Copilot to track everything you have ever done so they can train the perfect AI model of you so they can snatch you up in the middle of the night and replace you with an identical AI version of yourself, and no one will ever know it's not the real you. But I know, Bill, I know what you're up to, and you can't hide from me. But first, how did we get here? AI is not in any way a recent concept, as computer scientists have tried to create artificial intelligence since at least the 1950s. Of course, the idea of sentient automatons was a prominent idea in science fiction for decades before that, but the development of AI wasn't really able to begin in earnest until June 21st, 1948, my negative 55th birthday. That was when the first true computer program was run, consisting of 17 instructions. It was all made possible by the first rudimentary form of random access memory, or RAM. Before that, computers couldn't queue up instructions to be executed later, so something like an algorithm that operated completely without human intervention wasn't possible until then. Perhaps the most iconic pioneer of the early days of AI was Alan Turing. In World War II, he helped develop the bomb, which was an electromechanical device that allowed the Allies to decrypt encrypted German messages. But perhaps Turing's most lasting legacy was the Turing test, and the thing most relevant to this discussion today. The Turing test is a method for determining whether or not a computer can think. There are 3 participants, a human interrogator, and another human and a computer who answer the questions. The 3 participants are separated physically, and if the interrogator cannot determine which of the respondents is human, then the computer wins and is determined to be able to think. The Turing test has gotten a lot of buzz in the media because in 2023, ChatGPT was claimed to have passed it for the first time. However, I fundamentally disagree with the central premise of the Turing test. I do not think that the Turing test demonstrates the intelligence of a machine. Instead, I think it just demonstrates the ability to recognize and assemble patterns in a convincing way. It doesn't help that people think AI is more capable than it actually is. As they currently exist, AI are just a bunch of algorithms trained on enormous amounts of data from all over the internet. And from that enormous amount of data, they recognize patterns, and then they just produce an output that replicates those patterns. It just so happens that with things like language, there are clear-cut patterns to it, like grammar and syntax, and because ChatGPT has been trained on billions of lines of text across the entire internet, it's able to replicate that kind of thing very easily and convincingly. When people think of artificial intelligence, they have this idea of a thinking, reasoning machine aware of its own existence and place in the world like it's often depicted in science fiction. This is not what it is, not even remotely true. It's not that much different than the algorithm that recommends you content on YouTube, for example. That algorithm just recognizes patterns in your viewing habits and serves you up content that aligns with those patterns. But instead of serving up Cocomelon and gore videos to children left unattended with their mom's iPad, it instead makes it easier for you to cheat on your homework and spread information online. Why do posts like this never get liked? Amen. Imagine telling 2022 Max when he was making that video about Joe Rogan spreading dangerous misinformation on his podcast that in 2024, TikTok would be flooded with thousands of AI-generated Joe Rogan and Ben Shapiro videos telling people to rub mayonnaise on their balls to ward off infertility and male pattern baldness. I just made that up, but I bet you it's out there somewhere, and if it isn't, it will be soon. Simply put, it has never been easier to make and spread convincing misinformation online. Basically, it takes no effort at all. I remember back in the good old days when something was obviously fake online, people would call it out for being photoshopped. The thing is, even if you are using it to spread misinformation, which is an objectively shitty thing to do, editing images like that is in a way an art form. It takes a lot of time to learn how to make a convincing edit in Photoshop. That shit is hard. I can barely make a thumbnail that's on an eyesore. Although personally, I'm a gimper. I am not gonna pay for a license for Photoshop. I'm an adult. I need that money for food and marijuana, the important things. Same thing with, copying somebody's voice. In order to do that, you used to have to do an impression, and impressionism is a skill and an art form that takes so long to get good at and be convincing. Now you can take someone's voice, steal it like Ursula from The Little Mermaid, and make someone say something they would never ever say. It was fun when it was used just to make Biden, Trump, and Obama play Minecraft together, but it stops being fun when people use it to genuinely fuck with other people. There was a notable incident that made national news earlier this year in Maryland where a high school principal had nearly had his career ruined because a disgruntled employee of his decided to produce a deepfake of him saying racist and anti-Semitic garbage and shared it around. The athletic director of Pikesville High School had some prior issues with Principal Eric Eiswert. He was being investigated for making unauthorized purchases and allegedly stealing $2,000 from the school, and he had a long history of firing coaches without the permission of the school's administration. The principal was getting ready to fire this guy when fake AI-generated audio of him saying terrible things about Jewish and black students began circulating around the school. Teachers who didn't get along well with the principal shared the recording to their students in order to get it out there. And it got to the point where the NAACP got involved. Faculty and staff became anxious that their workplace had been bugged with listening devices and that their communications were being listened in on. And all of it was completely fake! And don't even get me started on deepfake porn. It's horrifying to me that you can just strip someone naked and depict them in sexual situations without their consent and knowledge. Even teenagers are making fake nudes of their classmates. I could not imagine how fucking awful it would be to be in that situation. It's disgusting and it's illegal. Even though it's not actually real, it's still CP. It's fucking horrifying that anybody, for any reason, can make convincing audio and video of you doing something you never did and would have never consented to. That should make everybody here mad and deeply uncomfortable. Here's the thing. We have copyright laws to protect artistic and original works. You have always been able to copy somebody's art or plagiarize their writing. But now people can steal your face and your voice and do anything that they want with it. If it's something like porn, of course, you have recourse because the production and distribution of non-consensual pornography is a crime. But with anything else, good luck. At least the Maryland fucker got arrested. Good riddance. Fuck you. Future Max reporting in from the inky black void at the end of time. While I've been working on this video, Twitter has released their new AI-generated image system called Grok, and it has been used to generate images like this in an election year. Thank you, Elon. Very cool. Do you guys realize that Black Mirror is a cautionary tale and not an aspirational story? I think all of this is also exposing a greater societal issue. People don't critically analyze the content they consume. I know it's always been an issue for some people, but I remember when I was a kid, it was drilled into my brain by my parents and my teachers that I shouldn't believe everything I see on the internet. And if something is not sourced, I should not believe it. While writing this video, I went onto Facebook with the burner account I made to keep tabs on my weird family members, and I just started scrolling down to see how long it would take me to find something that was obviously AI generated, and it did not take very long at all. Here we are. Here we go. Here we go. All of these comments are like, this is beautiful. No, this is fucking fake. This is not real. Oh, come on. That's a telltale sign of AI right there, is that the text is nonsense. It can't do text, like, in text and images properly. Oh, all of these people are, like, following the hook, line, and sinker for it. God damn. There's also, like, so much AI-generated Jesus shit on here. This guy right here has the right idea, but for the wrong reasons, but at least he knows something is weird. I'm an atheist. I do not believe in God. And I haven't for a number of years, but I went to Catholic school for 12 years, and I've read the Bible front to back several times. I know for a fact that Jesus would not want this. This feels deeply sacrilegious and bordering on iconoclasm. Blasphemy. That's the word I meant to say. How could I forget that? I fucking love blasphemy. What's happening here is that these bots are taking advantage of people with devout faith for money, for clicks, for views. It's also gotten to the point where AI bots are interacting with the AI generated posts, which means that the AI art bots are probably training themselves on other AI art and interacting with more AI posts. So it's inevitably going to collapse into just this black hole of incomprehensible bullshit. AI is becoming the dead internet theory right before our eyes, and they're just letting it happen. I'm on Instagram all the time. It's not as bad there, but Meta is just letting it happen on Facebook. It's rotting. It's dying. Right now, of course, there are still some telltale signs that something was generated by an AI that you can pick up on if you know what you're looking for. But there are so many people out there who aren't as tech literate as you or I, especially older people, who aren't aware of how big of an issue AI-generated content is becoming. But it won't be so easy to tell forever, or even very long. Like, do you expect that your grandma who isn't able to log into her email, do you think that she's going to be able to tell this apart? All of these AI content farms, they're preying on people who don't know better. They're preying on people with devout faith that makes them believe stuff. They're preying on people who don't know how to keep themselves safe on the internet. They're preying on some of the most susceptible people online, people who have already been the targets of so much misinformation campaigns. Misinformation is one of my least favorite things in the whole world. It is causing children in the US to catch measles in the year 2024. It's leading to the erosion of democracies all over the world, and it helps perpetuate bigotry and hate. Of course, I can't make a video about AI without wading into the septic tank that is AI art. I'm going to keep my thoughts here brief because I don't think my opinions are going to break any new ground in this conversation. AI art completely defeats the point of art. Art isn't awesome because it's just fun to consume or pretty to look at. It's awesome because of the human element to it. Behind every work that can be truly considered art, there's a human being or a group of human beings who poured their passion and their love and their care into it. Art moves us and makes us feel things. Art has intention behind it, every detail put there for a reason. We can critique it and analyze its meaning for years and years. Art lets us convey messages that words alone cannot do justice and allows us to reflect on the human condition and understand the world around us. None of that is true for AI art. Like I said earlier, these artificial intelligences are just pattern recognition algorithms. They scrape the internet, take other people's art, distill it down, and regurgitate something that is art only in the sense that it's a series of patterns arranged in a way some people would find aesthetically pleasing. And then, not very often, I don't hate AI on principle. But this is one thing I do oppose on principle. There is a reason why AI was such a huge sticking point during the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes last year. These giant studios wanted to replace their writers and actors with AI so they could cheap out. Not only were they trying to screw over the people that they employed, but they also wanted to ruin the artistic medium consumers enjoy. While I was editing this video, the video game voice actors represented by SAG-AFTRA have gone on strike for AI protections, among other things. Good. Keep that shit out of my video games. I made a joke about AI becoming president in the cold open of this video before I found out that in the recent UK election, an AI candidate did run for parliament. AI Steve was a chatbot that stood in for a real human parliamentary candidate named Steve Endicott. Quote, AI Steve is the AI co-pilot, Endicott said in an interview. I am the real politician going into parliament, but I'm going to be controlled by my co-pilot. AI Steve's selling point was that unlike human politicians, it could talk to thousands of constituents at the same time. But also like a real politician, the AI refuses to give definitive answers and dodges questions. The stated goal of AI Steve was to humanize politics, which is, has always been my issue with politics. Not the lobbying, not the fact that too many politicians were born in the Cretaceous period. No, it's the fact there are too many humans in politics. Finally, a candidate that speaks for me. Kill all humans! Kill all humans! Kill all humans! Fortunately, AI Steve finished in a distant last place with only 179 votes, so the fall of mankind has been staved off for another election cycle. But that also means there are people out there who would rather vote for a computer program than an actual flesh and blood human being to represent them. I don't know what to make of that fact. I do know that the day when we see the first AI senator get sworn into Congress, we just gotta pack it up and say humanity had a good run. Now, As much as I have been slamming AI in this video, it's not all doom and gloom. There have been some genuinely incredible uses of AI that have the potential to improve countless lives. For instance, AI tools have been used in cancer screenings. They've allowed doctors to catch tumors earlier and give patients a better shot at surviving. Google DeepMind has been used to predict and model the structures of proteins that have eluded biologists for decades, potentially revolutionizing the ways we treat diseases and give us a deeper understanding into how life itself works. With self-driving cars, we could prevent hundreds of thousands of traffic deaths annually and make our roads safer. AI tools can make the world more accessible for people with disabilities, making it easier to navigate and communicate. These aren't small things, they're big fucking deals. Before I ponied up and got a green screen, which is just off camera over there, I experimented with AI tools that let me remove the background of a shot. The green screen effect from that censored games video I made about 2 years ago was made using AI, and holy shit, I talked way too fast in that video. This is what I think an acceptable example of AI in a creative project looks like. Not using it to replace the talent and creativity of a human being, but to supplement the creative process by making it more accessible. It's like how we now edit movies using computer programs instead of physically cutting the film with scissors. Also, whatever Doug does, that shit is awesome. I love that. When regulated and used for specific purposes, AI has the potential to be a huge boon for humanity and change the world in ways not yet seen since the invention of the transistor. But only if it's used responsibly. As it stands right now, there is just no replacing humans. Despite all of our flaws, we are still the best at what we do. I will say, I would not mind Cortana being my personal assistant. Halo 4 Cortana specifically. When discussing the nature of artificial intelligence, I can't help but find myself coming back to a fundamental question. What does it mean to be intelligent? I don't think what we have now even comes close to being intelligent. Yeah, pattern recognition is a very important part of intelligence, but it's not the whole story. Intelligence entails the ability to think, to reason, to create, to feel. Can a computer ever truly be intelligent by that definition? I don't think so. I could be wrong. Maybe this whole video is the reason I will be the first to go when the singularity begins. But that question won't be a philosophical exercise for much longer. It's something that in time will need to be definitively answered. I don't hate AI on principle. I just think it needs to be controlled and its limitations need to be better understood. There are some genuinely incredible things that are possible with it. But right now, I don't like the path that it's on. I'm tired of companies and tech bros trying to shove it down people's throats and putting it where it doesn't belong. I don't want the internet of tomorrow to be flooded with bots spewing misinformation and producing art with no soul. AI is really, really good at very specific tasks and has the potential to change so many lives for the better. What worries me right now is that clearly AI is being used for far more than just that. The genie has been let out of the bottle, and I don't believe this is something that can ever go away now that it's out there. For now, it's on us to be vigilant. To not buy into AI bullshit when it's peddled to us, to not fall for the information AI is used to spread, and to not let AI take the humanity out of art. With all that, I leave you until next time, friends. Stay hydrated, wear protection, put on your ointment, like, subscribe, listen to Good Gorb on SoundCloud, and God bless. Thank you for watching.